Hey everybody, in today's Linux tip episode number 4, I'm going to cover two neat features in Linux Mint that you might find useful. One is multiple desktops, a nice feature that has been in the Unix operating system in Linux for, forever. Multiple desktops are nice for when you're multitasking, working on multiple projects. You can move things to a virtual desktop, and when you need to work on that particular project, you switch to that desktop, and when you need to work on a different project, you can switch to another one. The Linux Mint that we installed should have 4 multiple desktops set up by default, and I'll show you a really neat way to access them using hot corners. It's how I typically set up my systems. And the second thing I'm going to show you is how to make your Linux Mint look less like Windows and more like a Macintosh. If that's the environment you prefer, we can install a Docker program that will look like the dock program that they use in Mac, and we can move our taskbar to the top like what you're familiar with in Mac. So let's go ahead with that. I'll go ahead and log in. And multiple desktops is really a wonderful feature. It's probably my most favorite feature in Linux. So we're back to our welcome screen. If you get tired of seeing this welcome screen all the time, you can turn it off. There's a little checkbox right here, and if you uncheck it and then close the welcome screen, you won't see it anymore, and then you'll just go straight to your desktop. We don't really need it, so I'd go ahead and turn it off. So in order to enable the hot corners, you want to go to Menu, and then you want to go to your settings, System Settings. It's this little gearbox over here on this side menu. And you go ahead and click that. And then about halfway down the screen, you'll see something that's called Hot Corners. Click that. Now, I've already enabled it. What you want to do, I do the right-hand corner. Normally, it would be unchecked like this. So what you want to do is you want to do Hover Enabled, and then change this box to Show All Workspaces. And that will enable a hot corner up in the right-hand corner. So that anytime you move your mouse into that corner, that action will happen. You can turn on others too. And you can run a command, show the desktop, show all windows. It's pretty customizable what you can do with it. So for now, we're just going to do show all workspaces. So you can go ahead and click X to finish. And now what happens when you move your mouse over into the corner, you'll see that now I have 4 desktops. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can give them names, but by default they're called Workspace 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you want more than 4, you just click this plus button, and boom, now we have 5. If you don't want 5, you just can X one out. Now here's what's cool, is I can launch a program. I'll do a terminal on this desktop. But now say I don't want to work in the terminal, I want to use a browser, but I want to keep this here. I can open up my virtual desktops. I can go to Workspace 2, and now I can open a browser. And there's Chrome. Now if I go back up into the corner, you'll see we now have 2 desktops with stuff on it. You can see what's on each desktop. So it's like, oh, I need to go use my terminal, and click over here, and boom, there's my terminal. Or now say like we want to open another program, say like let's open GIMP, which is the image manipulator. So now we have GIMP running on its own virtual desktop. Now, oh wait, I want to go back to my browser. Boom. Or I want to go back to my terminal. There's my terminal. Or say like I need to see some data from this terminal, but I need it on this desktop. Well, it's actually really simple. I can click it when in this multi-desktop view mode and drag it to the desktop I want to use it on. And boom, now it exists there. So that's multi-desktop. It's a feature that if you're not used to it, you may think, oh, I'll probably never use it. But once you start using it, you'll find that it's quite useful. I tend to get multi-projects going at once, and I dedicate each desktop to that project. Excuse me. So with the multi-desktop environment, I can easily jump between projects, or sometimes I need to see active live data that takes a full screen, and I'll just stick that on its own desktop, and then have my work desktop be where my terminals are, or my web browser where I'm doing my actual physical work. And then when I need to pull up data, I can go to the other desktop, see what I need, grab it, bring it over. So that's how you set up multiple desktops. The other thing I wanted to show you is how to make your Linux Mint look a little more like a Mac. This is for those of you who prefer the Mac environment. Now this isn't going to be 100%. We already have a control panel that is very Mac-like. It's very similar to the Mac. So it's not too hard to, and Mac, I don't know if you know this, but the Macintosh runs on what's called a BSD kernel, and Linux runs on a Linux kernel. Both are based off of Unix. BSD is actual true Unix, and Linux is, I guess, for a lack of a better term, like a pseudo Linux, or a pseudo Unix, excuse me. But they work the same. So they're very similar underneath Macintosh and Linux. Sometimes you'll even hear people say, oh, Macintosh is basically Linux. Well, it's not really. But for all intents and purposes, they're very similar. And if you know one environment, it's easy to get used to the other environment. Okay, so what we need to do in order to make this look like a Macintosh is we have to install a Docker program. And the one that comes with Linux Mint is called Docky, D-O-C-K-Y. So we go to our package manager under the start menu, and we launch that, enter our password, and click OK. And then the easiest way to find it is to use the search feature in the package manager. So we want to go here into where the little search bar is, and type Docky, D-O-C-K-Y. Hit enter. And you'll see it as elegant, powerful, clean dock. It's got a little anchors, its little icon. So double click on that and hit install. 80%, 99, and it's done. So now if we decide later we don't like it, we can remove it, and that's fine. So you just go back in the package manager and research for it and hit remove. So now we need to launch it. So we go to menu and type Docky, D-O-C-K-Y, and you'll see that it's an item. Hit enter, and boom, we now have a dock. Now the annoying part is our bar's in the way. This is the part that varies based on different versions of Linux. Even just 2 versions ago, 17.1, it was different. But in this version, 17.3, which is the version we installed in episode 2, right click on it, go to modify panel, and then we select move panel, and you'll notice up at the top we just got another gray bar. See how it's highlighting? Just go up there and click it, and now our bar's up at the top, and we have our Docker right here. Now what you see is a trash can and then the Docker settings, and this is where you can change how it looks, the size, a 3D background, which I actually like. Very much a lot like the Mac, so I put it on the 3D. I like that. So now we want to put applications in here. Launch an application, it'll automatically show up as a running app. See, there's my browser. But if you want it there to launch, so you can launch it from the dock, you just right click and you do pin to dock. Now even though if I close my browser, it's there, and now I can launch it. So just like in the Mac, it even has that bouncy animation. So there's our browser, and then say like I want the GIMP in there. GIMP. So right click, pin to dock. File, quit. And there, now we have GIMP, we have Chrome. I like to put a terminal in there. We can add, let's see, Internet Hex Chat. That's our IRC chat program. So now it's there. So basically anything you want to add, you can add there. If you're using Thunderbird for email, you can add that. Pigeon Instant Messenger, that's a Jabber client for instant messaging. It actually supports multiple protocols. Even the old ICQ is supported on it if you still use that. You can even put your control panel there if you want. Huh, it says Bluetooth. That's weird. Never seen it say Bluetooth before. So that one happens to have the wrong icon, which is weird. So I'm not going to dock that one. So that's basically it. We just basically made our computer look like a Mac. The icon's a little different. We can remove this home directory if we wanted to, or move it over here. Oops. Just like on the Mac. Dink. There. Now we have a Mac clone. Yeah, I know it's not 100%, but if you like this and you're familiar with it from when you used to use a Mac, this is a good solution. Make you feel a little more at home. And I actually used to use this a lot. I don't use it anymore. I find I didn't like it on the Mac as much. I tend to make them smaller. So you can save the icon size and you go, whoa, and then you can make the zoom big, and then you can get the big effect as you hover over them. So it's just whatever you like. It's your preference. I hope that you found this useful. And I plan on bringing more videos to you. This is episode 4. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at Twitter. My contact information can be found on my website at www.fratum.com. That's FRATM.com. And click the contact button. And there's, you can get a hold of me through Twitter. You can get a hold of me on email, fratum@fratum.com. And remember, subscribe and thumbs up this video if you liked it and found it useful. And thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful night.